Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Monday and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. It is truly such an honor to be here with all of you today, starting off this new week with a collective reading and energy update. I hope that something from this reading connects with your intuition in a meaningful way, or uplifts and inspires you along your journey. So I'm going to start today by shuffling some of my oracle cards. And while I'm shuffling, if you would like to channel a more specific message from today's reading, I do recommend liking the video and subscribing to the channel, as these are forms of energetic transference that do tend to allow me to pick up more easily on your energy and channel more specifically for you and your situation. As I was getting prepared for this reading and starting to get all of the decks organized, I do have 7 crystals that I tend to lay out on the desk where I'm recording, and each crystal resonates with a different chakra center. And while I was laying these out in order of the chakras, I felt this guidance to actually do a deeper level aura read for our collective here. So essentially, how we're going to be doing this reading is going to be a little bit different, because we're going to be going chakra by chakra, starting with the root and channeling through anything that might be connecting with you through that chakra center, whether it's a person, an energy, a circumstance, maybe a blockage for some of you listening, and then kind of work our way from there. This is just going to be how we're structuring the reading today. Now, of course, this is a bit different from my usual channeling style. So if you don't really resonate with this style, that's perfectly okay. I'm sure that in the next reading video, we will be back to the usual style of channeling. I'm just really feeling guided towards this today for some reason. Maybe someone listening has been just feeling a lot of energy, maybe even just kind of pummeled by a lot of different energetic sensations or emotions. These might even be manifesting as highs and lows emotionally or energetically. So at times you might feel really clear, really happy and inspired. And then at other times, you might be feeling very much the opposite. So doing this style of reading might help us start to kind of tune into what might be going on here for you. Okay, so starting with the root chakra, what can I channel through from the root chakra for our beautiful collective? Okay. The first card to come out here is alone. So it's interesting that this is connecting with the manifested physical world, because the root chakra is very connected to our physical reality, but it's also related to our subconscious fears. So someone I'm tuned into here might be dealing with some kind of fears or anxiety related to being alone. Now, at the same time, I'm sensing a lot of profound empowerment. So it's not really a black and white scenario. It's much more complex, because for the person I'm picking up on here, you've been on this journey of coming into your own personal self-empowerment, and that's required you to be very alone with yourself. However, there are subconscious fears related to being alone. Maybe it's fear in a relationship context of being alone, whether that's losing a certain connection or not locking in a certain connection. Maybe these are natural anxieties that come up in your human experience as you are living life alone in certain respects. Now, of course, for some of you listening, you might be in a long-term romantic relationship. Of course, you might be single, but I'm feeling this loneliness regardless of your relationship status, this feeling that so much of what you've gone through in this lifetime to make you into who you are, you've had to go through alone. So that is sitting very deep on the root chakra here. We're also getting the card Runner. So with this card, what I'm picking up is connected with these anxieties around loneliness or being alone. It's almost as though things are being put in your face that you are no longer able to run from because you're no longer supposed to run from them. Now, I'm picking up that for many of you, this could be some of those deep subconscious fears connected to loneliness or the parts of your path that you've had to bear alone. And maybe some of these patterns have been coming up here in a way that might feel like a negative, or you might judge it as negative because when you experience it, it could be very overwhelming, it could be very startling or confusing, but these things might be coming up because you're no longer meant to run from fears related to walking this path alone. You are meant to be. It's reminding me of a reading I did just very recently within the last few days about anxieties coming up because you are opening these locked rooms within yourself that hold emotional traumas or memories or things from your past that were kept locked up for a long time, but are now being unlocked for you to actually air out those spaces within yourself and heal from that and release it on a really deep level. So if this is connecting with you and you'd like more information on this specifically, I would recommend checking out that reading video as well. If I remember, I will leave a link to it for your convenience under this video. But we're also getting the card King of Cups. So it's interesting because yes, these fears may be coming up around being alone, and yet the divine is also coming in here to say, but you're not truly alone. At some level, although in the physical manifested world or at times in your past, you felt very alone, spiritually speaking, there's someone here who wants to provide stability for you. This may be someone who wants to be there for you or wants to support you. And it's almost as though they're asking, like, will you let me in to that inner chamber of yourself, that sacred space? Will you let me listen when you're feeling anxious or afraid? Will you let me walk this path with you? And the interesting thing about this King of Cups is this might be a bit of an unexpected person. So if this is someone currently in your life, this may be someone that you haven't opened up those anxieties with or shared the depths of yourself with because you don't want to burden them or because you're not sure if they're going to stay or if they're going to want to support you through that. But I feel this person's soul saying, I want to be there for you. Let me in. Let me stabilize you. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to do this alone. Now, if this isn't someone in your manifested physical life, this might be someone that you're manifesting in. And of course, it doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a friend. This could be a confidant, a counselor of some kind, someone in your life that you can confide in, that you can open up with. And I'm just hearing you don't have to be afraid to open up. And yes, you've come into your personal empowerment and you are breaking down so many blockages and fears related to being alone, but also you don't have to always carry things on your own. I see someone like taking some of what you're carrying if You could think of your emotional baggage or your fears or anxieties as literal baggage that you are carrying on your back. It's almost like this person comes in and wants to take some of that from you. They want to share that load with you. And there's almost this question being presented of, are you allowing yourself to be supported? Are you willing to allow in the stability and support that someone might be trying to give you at this time? This might even be a powerful journal prompt, like, how can I allow others to support me? Or in another way of kind of journaling about it, you could dive into, in what ways am I forcing myself to carry things alone that could be shared with others, or that others are trying to share with me? So I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle the cards here. Wow, some very deep messages coming through. I just saw 1111 on the recording timer, and that was just one chakra of 7. Now, I will say, because these messages are going really deep, it's very likely that we will be stopping at some point in this reading and continuing the rest in our Patreon extended reading. So if you do want to join me in that Patreon extended reading, the link to do so is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. And for those of you who are new here, first of all, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Also, I want to let you know that I channel these collective readings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if they do resonate with you, you can join our Patreon Soul Tribe, which is always linked under those reading videos. And on Patreon, I channel 3 additional exclusive readings on those same days and at those same times. Okay, so here we have the card Regret sitting on the sacral chakra. Remorse, life regrets, loss. Start making empowered choices. I'm feeling that this is someone in regret over you. And I'm hearing that specifically, whoever is coming through here seemed to choose to connect with you superficially through the sacral chakra, rather than taking the time or investing the energy into a deeper, more truly intimate emotional bond. It's like this is someone who may have tried to approach you in a superficial manner. They may have tried to keep things very on the surface. They may have been very overtly kind of physical in a romantic sense with their overtures towards you, when you had all of this depth to offer them, but it's almost like they were closed off to exploring that for some reason. And now they're wishing that they had, because something about your sacral chakra energy has become closed off towards this person. I feel as though there was a period of time where you were almost testing the waters with them, or kind of observing. You were in this observant mode, remaining open-minded towards this person, maybe giving them more of your time and energy just to see how things would proceed, to see whether they wanted something deeper with you, or whether they were going to try and approach you in a shallow way or keep things at a very superficial level. And it's almost like, of course, nothing's really this concrete, but it's almost like, for lack of a better wording, that they failed the test. I know that sounds really blunt, but for many of you, it's almost like there was this window of time where you were getting to know this person. You may have felt a strong pull towards them. You wanted to see what they were about, how they would treat you, how they would approach you. And this person seemed to choose to treat you in a very superficial manner, or to try to connect with you from a more shallow space. And now they're in regret about that. They're feeling as though they've lost that window of time. They've missed some kind of opportunity here. because you're very much in your feminine energy. So in the past, you may have even, like I said, invested more time and energy into them. And this may have actually displaced your feminine energy a bit, especially if you are connecting here as a divine feminine. This may have been a masculine who was almost kind of overreaching, trying to get you to chase them. And you may have given into that just slightly. So you may have kind of allowed this person to push you into kind of waiting by the phone or wanting to kind of push things together here, or being the one to initiate a lot of the interaction or connection or communication. And I feel you really slipped back into that receptive, magnetic, feminine space and closed the window with this person where you were going to be investing more of your time and energy. And they felt that shift almost instantaneously. I'm seeing flowers for some reason. Maybe this person will try to bring you flowers. Maybe someone's been wearing more floral kinds of clothing or something along those lines. What else can I channel about this individual feeling regret here? Okay, we have the cards release and community. So maybe you've been in this mode of surrender with the release card. I'm hearing that you're disconnecting from all people or situations who were connecting with you by triggering some kind of fear or triggering you into that chasing energy. And what I'm getting from this specific person is they seem to be somehow triggering a fear of rejection or abandonment. And it's almost like they were doing this intentionally to kind of keep you hooked on them romantically or to keep you interested. Now, I'm not saying that they necessarily had malicious intent in doing this, just that they seemed to have this awareness that by kind of keeping you on your toes in this connection, triggering this fear of rejection or fear of abandonment within you, that they were kind of in their mind keeping you more romantically interested. But what they didn't realize is that they were trying to use traditional techniques. If this is romantic, this was, of course, some form of traditional dating techniques or seduction techniques. And they were using this on a divine feminine who didn't operate the way that lower vibrational feminine energies do. And so, yes, there was this period of time where I feel you allowed this person the chance to step up and take things to a deeper level with you. But I almost feel like every time things would start to get to that deeper, more authentic place, this person would kind of pull the rug a little bit. And eventually something about that pattern became very evident to you. And with the community card, I feel that this might be you shifting your focus more to the people or things providing you a sense of support and community in your life. Now, this could be people that you spend time with. Something about this feels very light and playful. So this might be people or energies that you connect with in a very light way, but that support you because they're providing this sense of physical 3D community for you, even if it is kind of in a light, playful sense. So this could be friends, acquaintances, coworkers, certain environments in your life. I am getting with this card as well that with the community sitting on the sacral chakra, which of course the sacral is about really being present and fully connected to yourself, your in the moment life experience, your physical body. And I'm getting here that you may have been feeling this newfound inspiration recently to open yourself up a bit more to your community, to share yourself a little bit more. So for some of you listening, this might look like maybe typically you are very much a homebody, but recently you've been wanting to, like, this is just a specific example, but Maybe you usually do your work from home, but you felt guided to do it from a library or a coffee shop. Maybe you've just felt guided to go around driving to different local locations. And I'm just getting whatever this is for you. It feels like this inspiration to be a little bit more visible in your physical 3D community, especially locally, in a way that maybe you aren't typically. And I'm hearing don't overthink it with the Thinking Woman card reverse, keeping this sacral chakra energy open and in balance really necessitates keeping the mind out of the way here, because our mind will always try to convince us out of those in the moment intuitive impulses. It will tell us that they're small or insignificant or don't really make logical sense. But I feel that the divine feminine I'm channeling here is really learning to tap more into her soul and intuition and really release that chatter of the mind to kind of just move with the flow of the inspired movements in her life without getting the mind too involved in that process. And this is actually extremely powerful for really bringing that sacral chakra energy back into balance. So I also saw a yellow butterfly. I am going to look up the symbolism of that because I am really curious what that might mean. Okay, so it can symbolize rebirth and hope. It can also be related to Jesus Christ and his resurrection. So for some of you listening, maybe you identify as Christian, and that's why we're getting the Jesus Christ imagery, or maybe you are connecting with someone who identifies as Christian in your life. But if that doesn't resonate for you, then I'm just getting this general message of a rebirth, a renewal of some kind. I'm also just hearing this like deep level fulfillment and happiness, but it's a happiness that comes from allowing yourself to move with that inspired flow of your life without overthinking it. So I'm going to be reshuffling a bit here and moving up to the third chakra center, which is, of course, the solar plexus chakra. So what is happening in the solar plexus chakra for our beautiful divine feminine collective here? I know that we didn't identify this collective necessarily as being the divine feminine from the beginning of this reading, although most of the audience here on the channel does tend to connect more with divine feminine energy, but I just felt that coming up very strongly. So at this point, I am going to be putting that label divine feminine in the title of the video. However, keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's really your intuition guiding your life. I am just here to hopefully help to confirm to you some of those pieces, parts, and threads that you are receiving from your own internal intuition. And when it comes to the divine feminine, we all actually have a balance of both the divine feminine and divine masculine internally. So these messages could connect to your internal masculine or feminine, or to an external person or situation. Okay, I clearly heard divine timing is now. So there's something that divine timing has been heavily at play with, and this may be related to a creative project or to your generalized sense of creativity, because we also have the creativity card here. So I'm hearing that someone I'm picking up on is beginning to feel very productive in a creative direction, but also still having that sense of not necessarily knowing where those creative steps are going to lead 10, 20, 1,000 steps down the road, if that makes sense. But there is this feeling, I'm hearing almost like this divine urge to create more in certain directions that I feel you really allowing yourself to follow through on, again, without getting the mind too involved here. And there's also this sense that divine timing has been at play in something, and this could be a creative project or endeavor for a long time, where things may have felt like there was almost this culminating energy beneath the surface, a kind of momentum building. But on the surface, to the human eye, things may have appeared to be stuck. They may have looked stagnant. You may have felt like you had writer's block or the equivalent in your creative space or your workspace. If you're not specifically a writer, this could have just looked like feeling some blocked inspiration. But that's because, again, divine timing was at play. So there was this culmination, this building of energetic momentum. But now I'm seeing it reach some kind of a peak where, again, it's like the time is now. Now is the time to start putting forth the inspired action. Now is the time to start confidently creating in that direction. I'm also hearing something about accepting your expertise. So I feel that you've been working and training and studying and learning in a particular space or when it comes to something in your life, and you've truly become an expert in this area, whether you consciously recognize that or not. And it's almost like the next phase of this journey is about really allowing yourself to accept that you're no longer a novice, to accept that you are a leader in this space, that you've become an expert at whatever you're doing, to accept that there are many people seeking out what you have to offer here because you've put in the work energetically, emotionally, and literally to cultivate your talents and abilities in that area. I'm also just getting something very strong around realizing the value of what you are offering to others here, because I'm sensing that many others are actually beginning to really view you as an expert or as a leader in some kind of space. Now, this could be in a general sense. Maybe you find yourself in positions of leadership or in the position of giving advice to others. This also could be in a very specific area of your life, like your career, a business, a creative endeavor, etc. But I'm also getting that it's almost like this dance here between inspired creative pushing forward and surrendering. I'm hearing putting forth the inspired action, but surrendering the timing. That might be kind of the key here for someone. Allowing yourself to move with those inspired actions, but also knowing to leave the timing to the universe, to trust that everything's coming together in perfect timing here. So I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle, and the heart chakra is going to be the last chakra center that we are going to touch on in this first reading here on YouTube, which means that in the extended Patreon reading, we will be diving into the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra. So again, the link to that extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Well, the most powerful card on the heart chakra is what I call my unconditional love card. This is the Angel of Love. So what I will say is your open heart chakra seems to be the strongest marker on your aura at this time, meaning people perceive you for your heart chakra. That's what they see and sense and feel most strongly from you, is like this very strong, steady flow of unconditional love energy. And that actually seems to soften and balance and keep in flow all 7 of the chakra centers. So there's almost this message here. Love keeps you in balance. Love keeps everything in your life in balance. Whether we're talking about the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, or so on, it's almost like love softens, opens, and heals everything here. And it's really that unconditional love that is so powerfully showing up in your energetic signature. It's what others are feeling from you, reacting to about you, and also why they're feeling so drawn to you. I'm also getting a very strong message about how the way your heart chakra is so open at this time is causing you to appear very beautiful to others, not just in like a personality type of way, but it's almost like it causes you to glow in a way that looks physical to other people. It makes them perceive you as beautiful because really, yes, it is your energy that they are sensing, but that love energy actually impacts the way that others perceive and see you physically as well. So this is a really beautiful card to be coming up on your heart chakra. Now, I will say we are going to be channeling who is connecting with your heart chakra, because this seems to be your most magnetic chakra center at this time. So I imagine there are people and energies trying to connect with you more actively and consciously through the heart space. So we will be channeling into that in the extended reading on Patreon, as well as, of course, the final 3 chakra centers and any other messages or pieces of information that want to come through that reading. But for now, I'm going to be closing this first YouTube reading with a Rumi Oracle card. And the Rumi card to come out here is Arise. So I'm just going to read a message from the guidebook here. Wings of hope languish from lack of use. When wings dissipate and weaken, life begins to lose its value. Every cell in your body is created to rise to challenges. Your life is meant to confront everything that holds you captive. Don't sit at the bottom of the well, not caring about salvation. Listen to the voice calling within you. Reach for eminence beyond your own maturity. Rumi. And the guidebook also says, you are being asked to trust, to gently lay to rest the suffering that has been. They are so little in the greater scheme of you. Let them go and focus upon what is alive now. Can you sense before you is a great being of light, a greater pathway opening up? This is truth, blazing angel. This is truth. Take the step. So easy is it when the light of the heart is felt within, reminding you of your own divine nature. All serves a sacred purpose, so embrace it. Know that no matter what appears to be, all is well. So that feels like a beautiful place to close this reading. If you do want to continue on with me now to Patreon, the link to do so is underneath the video. And if you do resonate generally with my energy, of course, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post more energy updates, inspiration, and information. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light today. Have a beautiful remainder of your day and start to your week. And as always, I will connect with you here again in Wednesday's collective reading.